back to Relentless Talk Radio. I'm here with Laura Madden. I'm super excited about it. This is episode 40, segment 3. This is the art and fashion segment. Super excited to talk with Laura about two reasons. One, because she's doing some fantastic brand new art of her own. And secondly, we're going to talk about fashion, of course, because we can't help ourselves. Oh my God, I love your flipping hat. How cool is that?
Thank you. Thank you. Ready for fall.
Yay, I love it. I love it. So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
I'm Laura Madden, and I'm a sustainable fashion advocate. I've done styling and personal shopping, and I'm a brand ambassador for sustainable brands. I do a lot about fashion. Right now, I am focusing on my art, which, similar to fashion, is also based around the sustainability conversation. But I would consider myself an art and fashion lover all around. And I'm just start a conversation around how we can make all these beautiful things more sustainable. So, you know, we still enjoy beauty in our lives, but how can we do it so it's still really, really good for the planet and the people?
The planet and the people. I'm double checking to make sure that we're actually live, and we are. So there we are. We're live. Isn't this funny? Like you can see my phone, right? Okay. So the sustainability piece is how you and I actually connected, because you and I are friends with Laura Morales and Green Living Magazine. So she said to me, "Oh my gosh, you got to meet Laura." And it was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know how long you've been in Arizona.
I think it was a year ago.
It was a year ago, and you and I phone tag for a while. And now you're focusing on your own art, and you're doing all this fashion stuff. So you have a show going on right now, right?
Yes, and we are live from the show. We are at the Conscious Collective pop-up, and this is 6 business owners. We are just here for 1 month at the WLA studio space. It's an event space at the Modern Manor Furniture, mid-century modern furniture.
Oh no, you're breaking up.
Designer resale. We've got 2 artists. We've got an upcycle designer and myself.
So you broke up a little bit, and I think you might have a funky internet connection. So I'll just say it's modern. Tell me the location again so people can hear it.
It's at the Modern Manor.
Okay.
In Melrose. We're in the Melrose district.
So I will put you will put, after this broadcast, a link to the show in the comments, and also to the location so people know how to find you. Now, is that your work behind you?
Yes. Yes. So this is my lady. She's my logo.
I love her.
Yeah, that's her. And I like to say it's a self-portrait, but unfortunately I can't. I'm not nearly as beautiful as she is. But I mean, everything is really abstract. It's modern art. I do a lot of self-portraits. They're not really self-portraits because everything is abstract. But it's really fun stuff. It's playful. It's not meant to be so serious. Also, although some of it looks a little bit dramatic, as you see. This is all black and white that I have set up here. I do some colors, but similar to my fashion, I love a black and white palette. And everything is upcycled. Everything I have here is upcycled. So I'm repurposing something I found somewhere, who knows where. And I'm just trying to make it beautiful. I'll give you a life cycle of it. Keep it out of the landfill.
You know, it's funny because part of my work is collage. This work behind me is all of it. Oh. This piece right here is all collage behind here. So it's funny. I never really thought of it as sustainable art, but it is, because I'm repurposing things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. So that's a cool way to look at it. So the over topic for today's show is you and I have been laughing about this for days, getting out of flow and getting back into flow, because you moved here and you're like recalibrating like I am. You're pruning. You said you love the word pruning, right? You're pruning, you're doing your thing. You were kind of like in a similar place of like, okay, how can we take this thing that we are and restructure it so that it makes more sense, or repurpose the things that we've been doing in different ways? And I've been doing that my entire career, and so have you. So how do you manage getting into flow or getting back into flow or kind of
Oh my gosh.
all of it?
Well, it's funny. I feel like, I moved here not that long ago. That was a whole like break in flow, getting back into flow. And I really worked hard to put myself out there, build my net. But at the end of the day, and once again this summer, I will just say once again, I found myself in another break in the flow, and I'm now recalibrating, just like you, getting back in the flow. What I learned from this very last break in the flow is that I need to trust myself. I don't need I don't need validation from anyone else but myself. And it really comes down to getting clear.
Totally. Right. Amen,
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah. So that was a big one. And it's like nothing I didn't already know, but I didn't get it. I wasn't really getting it. And now I get it.
I was doing the research for today's conversation. I really was laughing at myself because I had a couple conversations like last month in particular that you ever had these kind of conversations with people and they shit to say this, like it gets underneath there and it starts to infect you and you find yourself repeating. Kim Fisher says she loves your hat. Look at, I can show that on the screen.
Thank you,
Kim.
Should we share where it's from?
Yes, definitely share where it's from.
This was a Goodwill find, and I think it was $4. It's 100% wool. Sorry, ladies.
Love it. I just
love that. One of them.
This is a Marlene Sabatino piece, okay? And this is actually a found object that she repurposed as a necklace. So I just said, as you're talking, good for her, Marlena Sabatina. She's one of my artists. I'll put a link to her stuff later on this post too. But what I found was like, when you get out of flow, you're more susceptible to the conversations that you have with people where they're the naysayer conversations. And that the next week's topic is like, telling the naysayers to like kiss your ass basically, because, anybody who's ever done anything worth doing has been misunderstood and has gotten out of flow and has had like a bad go at something. I don't know, bad. I don't know. I don't think even things that don't work are bad. I think they just tell you.
Right.
I opened my gallery in Carefree 2 years ago. I learned a shit ton. Okay, it was an opportunity. It was a location. Maybe, I don't know. Let's try it and see what happens. It ended up not being a sustainable, ongoing mission. But I sold 26 paintings. An opening day, I made 15 grand. Right? And it was my work that sold an opening night. So on opening night of my own gallery, I sold $15,000 worth of art. I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't think that's a lose, right? But then people will say, well, the gallery's still not open. I'm like, well, yeah, it's not open because it shouldn't be open. It wasn't mine to do, ongoing mine to do. It just wasn't. Right. The space was big. It was so far out and Carefree. There's a gallery that's in that space, not in that particular space, but in that area now that probably is doing great. I don't know. But for me, it wasn't the right ongoing decision. I had to pull back from it. That's the other thing about getting out of flow. Sometimes getting out of flow means you're moving in the wrong direction. Stop. Go in the direction, right?
So true.
Right?
Yeah, it can be a hard pill to swallow because, you might be focused, like you think you're supposed to go over here, but then life is like, nope. You're actually going to be way better over there.
Yeah, you need to when you think about how the telephone was created and how it wasn't created to be the telephone. It ended up being the telephone, but it was supposed to be something completely different. Nice. And it ended up being the telephone, which today, this is what we got. It's completely revolutionized our world, right? So you just never know getting out of flow. So what's the biggest lesson do you think that you've learned?
Honestly, it's like trusting myself and knowing it's bottom line, know thyself. And so for me, my strengths are creativity. My strengths are my social skills, my people skills, and I need to stick to that. Stay in my own lane.
Yeah.
Stay there. Just keep going, because it's like, like I'll get into this conversation with myself where it's like I'm not doing enough, and then I'll try and go and veer into other lanes, and it's like, nope, I get so exhausted so easily. So, it's trusting myself, not looking to others for validation, and sticking with my strengths.
I've always been okay with, like, for example, the lighting in my studio. This is the third show I've done from this studio. I got to figure it out. It's too dark in here. This window, I thought for sure was going to give me plenty of light, right? I mean, look at it. There's plenty of light going on here. But, what am I going to do? I won't know that until I try, and then I got to figure out the lighting thing. And, I just moved. And am I going to not have a show because the lighting's not perfect?
Right.
It's just one of those things, and I think that you and I as artists, that I actually build mistakes into my art on purpose.
Wow.
There's an ancient Chinese or Japanese practice called wabi-sabi, okay? And Kim Fisher says, trusting yourself is 100%. She says 100%. Absolutely. So I actually read when I was in art school, and I was in one of my art classes about how the Chinese
artist. I forgot you actually went to art school.
I actually flipping went to art school twice. I went to SUNY Albany. I have a degree in fine art. I know. I have another certification in computer design for Pratt, because the year that I graduated in '89, the whole world changed. And so rather than, I could have gotten a master's degree, but there wasn't even a master's degree in design yet. It was that new. So I went to Pratt to get a certification in computer design, and I used my design skills like all day long, every single day. I have a Creative Suite membership that I use regularly. And then I went on and got my master's in administration. I got a business degree. I don't know. How did that work, right? It just, I just think that you just kind of bump along and find your way. You know what I mean?
Right. You just have to go. You have to keep moving.
And, I've been really intrigued by every time I change something, I learn something new about myself. Like, one of the things I've learned, I really love Central Phoenix. I loved being down in Central Phoenix. I was so excited to be there. It was a great 6 months. But my partner lives in North Phoenix, and he had just bought a condo, and it just didn't make sense for us to be in opposite ends of the city. So I moved to North Phoenix. And every time I move, I don't want to move because I love being across the museum. I love being in art. But then I come to North Phoenix and I find something else that I love. And we talked about this. Every time something changes, I've held on to something so tight, and I let it go, like selling my house in Cave Creek. I didn't want to let it go, and I finally realized it was the right decision. Hanging onto the gallery, let it go. Every time I let something go and broke my flow, regrouped and got back into flow, my productivity went 10 steps forward. I've always had to take 2 steps back to go 10 steps forward. And you and I have been on the same path that way since you came here.
Right. Totally. It's nuts. I'm glad I'm not alone.
I know. And that's the reason why I do Relentless Talk Radio. Because in order to get to the point where we win, where, people see people on the red carpet. A lot of my clients, see, look, there's the sun came in. That's good. Seriously, God, right there is good. God, I got it. That's good. If only I could control the sun, I'd be good, right? When I was in New York City, I, learned that you just gotta like try it and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be relentless about it. So the reason why I created Relentless Talk Radio is that I was having all these conversations with my entrepreneurial girlfriends and guy friends, quite frankly, in private. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start sharing this shit on because this is really what we go through every day, right?
It's real life. It's real life.
So those people that I was training in New York City that were on the red carpet and looking perfect, I knew, I won't tell you who I was training because it's outing them, but I had a particular person I was training went through a really horrible breakup. And she was on the cover of like Vogue the next month looking fantastic, okay? I knew she was absolutely in a shitstorm. She was in a complete shitstorm. Her heart was broken. I mean, there's nothing worse than being famous and having your heart broken. It really, it's awful. You just have to keep moving forward and act as if, and then things get sliced together. But, all those conversations I was having when I was a personal trainer with, training some of the people that run red carpet, the conversations I have in my coffee, that's what Relentless Talk Radio came from. I'm going to start having these conversations in public because we all need to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you find so much in other people's stories. You learn so much. I agree. And I love podcasts, but I love what you're doing because it's like an education that you're not going to get in school. You're not going to get it in a book because it is real life. It's what really happens.
I'm learning Be Live. I love that we can do this, share the comments thing. That's so cool. I learned Be Live on the fly in this conversation. People think you have to have it all figured out. You don't. You're constantly learning on the fly. It's part of when I was running the leadership program at IDX Systems Corporation while I was going to graduate school. My concentration in graduate school was organizational behavior.
Wow.
That sounds pretty wordy, doesn't it?
I could use that. You
gotta be organized, behaving in organizations, right? So the reality is that this is what doing stuff looks like. It's messy. It's messy. We're not perfect. It's,
people like to talk about the good stuff, which is inspiring. That's great. But it's like, what did it take to get there? Like, we need to be open about that. So
it's running hopping on one foot with your shoe on and like, banging your knee and like locking your keys in the car and, I mean, all of that stuff. So Phoenix Fashion Week, I'm probably going to be there on Thursday.
Oh, girl, you're going to love my outfit. It's all vintage and Goodwill. You just wait.
I will see you on Thursday then at Phoenix Fashion Week. Yes?
I'll be there Friday.
Okay.
So I won't be there.
So you have to tag me on all your photographs and I will share your outfit on Relentless Talk Radio so people can see what it is. And I'm going to try and get down to see you next Wednesday to see your show when I'm on my way to a mixer that's happening in the Roosevelt Road District. So I'll try to shout out from there. So how do people find you and your art? What's your website?
My website is IamLauraMadden.com.
So look at this. I can actually put this on. I can send it and then it goes up. This is super cool. Learning this on the fly. And I can show it. Look at that.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool? So what happens now is this recording goes to YouTube. It goes on the Micalizzi Enterprises YouTube channel. And then from there, all of those YouTubes are getting put into podcasts. And I'm going to be applying for iHeartRadio and all the other big internet radio stations.
Yay.
Super excited about that. So thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Put my Instagram too, because Instagram is where I'm most active. And I give all my updates in like up to the minute information.
So you can share the YouTube on Instagram. Cool. Madness. So I'm a little behind on my YouTubes from moving. I have like 7 ahead of you. So I'm hoping to get them all caught up this week. Usually I make them right after the broadcast, but oh my God, I've been in boxes. So I will try to get this to you as soon as possible. It was great talking to you. You look
Thank
fantastic.
You.
And
thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. See you on Phoenix Fashion Week.
Yeah, I can't wait. And thanks so much for showing up in Phoenix. We needed you. Take care.
Bye.